Breaking news, Titans fans, we have a trade. It is the first trade of the NFL offseason, and the Titans are trading defensive tackle T'Vondre Sweat to the Jets for edge rusher Jermaine Johnson. When I saw this morning, I was like, oh, we got a trade. I was talking literally about T'Vondre Sweat yesterday and how he was going to have a big role in this team, but Robert Saleh decided he wanted to get his old guy back on this team. We're going to break it all down, but here's the tweet from Tom Pelissero to make it official. Our guy, Tyler Smith, here at Chat Sports, he said, well, this is kind of like your steakhouse trade where they're probably at the bar just talking, and the Jets and the Titans, they already made a trade last season with Jarvis Brownlee Jr., so they kind of said, hey, let's go for this one, and it is complete player for player. No draft picks, player straight up for player straight up. We're going to break it all down, but this is why you subscribe to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. It is 9:50 in the morning. The trade literally just happened, and we got on this to get to you as quick as possible. So if you don't want to miss anything, we got combine coverage for you. So make sure you hit that sub button right now so you don't miss out on a single thing. Like I said, this is a player for player trade. T'Vondre Sweat goes to the Jets, and Jermaine Johnson goes to the Tennessee Titans. And I was kind of surprised on this, that there were no draft picks. Jordan Schultz also kind of said that this is kind of the 49ers, while Robert Saleh was still on their coaching staff, wanted to trade, and the Jets wanted a draft pick. So he said, no. But luckily for the Titans, it is a rare player for player trade. And I think this is a win-win for both teams. The Jets, they struggled on the interior all of last season, and they get a guy with T'Vondre Sweat. And, of course, the Titans, they struggled a lot with the edge rushers, and now they're getting a guy. But Saleh, he gets his former defensive back in Jermaine Johnson as the Titans start to rebuild their defense. We know Saleh is a defensive mastermind on this team, and I think that he is going to help this defensive core right away. And you know, when he was with the Jets that last season, he struggled a bit. In 2024, he was dealing with an injury. But now with Jermaine Johnson jumping over to the Titans and jumping with his former coach, I think that he is going to have a lot better season. With Aaron Glenn's defense, he really did not fit on this team. And you could tell by the statistics from his couple seasons without Robert Saleh. He only played in 2 games in 2024, but he really didn't even do much during those 2 games, 4 tackles. And then last season, he was also hurt again, 9 games, 3 sacks, which is okay, but you could just tell by watching. If you go watch the tape, he did not fit well in that. And then in 2023, with Saleh, his best season, 7.5 sacks, 11 tackles for loss, 7 pass breakups. He is going to fit on this team perfectly. And the PFF grades, yeah, they're not eye-popping. 61 overall, 78th out of 115 defensive ends. His pass rush and his run defense are kind of the same, 83rd and 85th. But he also did not play a lot of snaps in 2025. Coming over, he gets a new, fresh start, and he gets to be reunited with that team. Like I said, Johnson has been much, much better in Saleh's defense. A lot better. It's kind of that fit. The Titans with Saleh, they like to use their edge rushers to get to the quarterback. They like that speed. They like that power type of defensive end, and I think that Jermaine Johnson is going to help them. And he also, it's not with that trade where it's going to be like, okay, maybe we get him for a 1-year rental and we have to worry about him getting a contract extension. No, Johnson has 2 years left on his contract. So he's going to be here for this year, and he's going to be here for next year. And I think that he's going to plop in and fit right in to this defense because, well, they don't have many edge rushers. I still have Sebastian Joseph-Day and Jihad Ward on this depth chart, but those 2 guys are not going to be Titans as of March 11th because they are free agents. And then you see there, you have Jalen Harrell and Femi Oladejo as your 2 other guys. But you still lose T'Vondre Sweat. I don't know if the Titans are still going to go edge in the draft because they have a top guy with Jermaine Johnson, and you also have Femi Oladejo. But now, with T'Vondre Sweat gone, it is Jeffrey Simmons, and that's about it. That's it. You have nobody at this defensive line. And if you look at the D-line depth chart, Cam Horsley was kind of your guy that was bouncing off the practice squad here and there throughout the entire season. Jeffrey Simmons, and then one guy on the bench. They need a lot of depth on this team, because when you had Simmons and you had T'Vondre Sweat on there, that was pretty much the only bright part of the entire Titans defense last season. The safeties were kind of weak. The cornerbacks were mightily weak. And your linebackers were solid with Cody Barton, and you also had Cedric Gray going through the entire year. But it was the defensive line that was really good for this Titans. And Sweat, he kind of is going to help out the Jets. It's not your typical... Well, it's not Jeffrey Simmons. Let's just put it that way. In 2025, 34 tackles. He only played in 12 games, 4 tackles for loss, 2 sacks. You guys remember when Jeffrey Simmons went down with that hamstring injury earlier in the season, it was T'Vondre Sweat that kind of stepped up. He had those 2 sacks, 34 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 1 pass breakup. But I think with this trade, I said it before, it's a win-win situation for both of these teams. You're not getting weaker, but you're not getting weaker on the defensive side because you're getting a guy on the edge. But the Jets are also getting a defensive tackle. If there were draft picks involved, then we could kind of talk about, well, someone's getting fleeced here. But I don't think anybody's getting fleeced here. I think this is a good trade for the Titans because they needed an edge rusher. So go ahead. Go down in the comments section. Grade the trade for me. Give me an A, B, C, D, or F. I'm basically going to put this as a B. But going in when I first saw this trade, because I literally made a video yesterday talking about the all bunch of news that we saw from the NFL Combine and who the Titans were meeting with throughout the entire draft. Well, it's edge rushers. So are they still going to go with an edge rusher? Because you have a lot of questions that had to be made. What does this mean for the NFL draft? Are the Titans going to completely flip the script and go with someone else? We'll have to wait and see. We'll break that all down in for you in just a second. But first, I got to tell you about our sponsor of today's show, and that is PrizePicks. Shoot your shot on PrizePicks and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. That's right. PrizePicks is now giving you $50 in lineups when you sign up and play your first $5. PrizePicks makes every dunk, every dime, every board that much more exciting. So don't miss this chance to get started on America's #1 app for sports picks. PrizePicks is simple to play. Just pick more or less than 2 to 6 player stat projections, and if your picks are right, you can cash in. They also have early payouts. So if your player gets off to a hot start, you now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. It takes 30 seconds to make a lineup, ladies and gentlemen, and I know football season's over, but you can actually make PrizePicks lineups with the NFL Combine, with 40-yard dashes and everything on that matter, bench presses, all that stuff. But if you want to go basketball, baseball's right around the corner. I love my motorsports. I use PrizePicks all the time. But you got to download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. So now let's get to the draft, because are the Titans still focused on the edge rushers? Because if you get an edge at Jermaine Johnson and you still have your guy, which we'll talk about a lot in Femi Oladejo, are the Titans going to still look at that number 4 spot to go with one of the top edge rushers? Because yesterday at the Combine, they met with every single top edge rusher in the building. Arvell Reese, David Bailey, Ruben Bain Jr. And I talked a lot about how much they love Ruben Bain, especially his chemistry with quarterback Cam Ward, and just how much Mike Borgonzi and Robert Saleh have talked way high about this guy, Bain. But with Jermaine Johnson, and you also have second-round pick Femi Oladejo, that's 2 guys. That's 2 starters right there. You aren't going to take your second-round pick and just shove them to the side. Do you still want to draft an edge at the number 4 overall position when you already have 2 starters? You're going to put him in and then just say, screw it, we made a mistake on Femi Oladejo? I don't think so. I think he's going to be a great player. He still needs some development. He's still a little bit of raw talent. But at this point, do you really want to go with the edge at 4 or go and get someone that's the best player available? Because right now, with the Jets trading away their top edge rusher, they're 100% going to take an edge at the number 2 draft spot, whether that be Arvell Reese, whether that be David Bailey, or Ruben Bain Jr. That is pretty much a guarantee that they are going to do that. So now the Titans, they could shift gears and go in a different direction. And one guy that I'm looking at is Caleb Downs. Do you want to go after probably the best player in this draft? Do you want to go after Caleb Downs and draft a guy to help improve this defense? I know I talk a lot about how we need to get weapons for Cam Ward, but at this point, with you have a defensive-minded head coach, do you want to go and focus on the defense getting better and have Brian Daboll just say, okay, maybe our system's going to be great? Do you go after Caleb Downs? Because I think if the Cardinals don't take it number 3, he's going to be sitting there right with you at the number 4 spot. And the Titans, they made some moves yesterday. They made some cuts. And they released one of their starting safeties, Xavier Woods. They also released center Lloyd Cushenberry after he failed a physical, and that wasn't for his Achilles. It was for his shoulder. So that's a little bit interesting. The Titans are going to be looking to get a center at one point. But now you have an open spot at the safety position because you also have Kevin Winston Jr. Could they fill that other role with Caleb Downs? And I'll tell you right now, if you draft this guy, he is going to be an absolute demon on the team. By far one of the best players in the draft, if not the best player. 68 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 4 pass breakups, 2 interceptions. And the year before, when he played 16 games, an even better season. He is the best player, and he would be a lockdown defender for the run defense and also just in pass coverage. Perfect type of player. And when you look at the Titans safety depth chart, Amani Hooker, yeah, he's been here for a while. He can be your kind of veteran presence. But you also have Kevin Winston Jr., the last year's rookie out of Penn State, and 2 guys that you probably don't even know if you're a casual Titans fan. You need to upgrade the safety position now that you've cut Xavier Woods, because they could be looking at some to improve throughout the NFL draft. So the Titans, in general, they just need to do whatever they can to get the best players available, and Caleb Downs would be an absolute dog for this roster. I think the Titans might now just go in the direction of, we're going to take the best player available, because now you have your edge. You could also go out and get a wide receiver, but there is no specific wide receiver in this draft, at least in the top 4 positions, where I'm going, oh my God, it's like a Tedero McMillan type player or a Travis Hunter. That's not the case here. You can find those guys in the second round. So now it's kind of, well, we're just going to take the best guy, and that is definitely Caleb Downs. So we'll have to wait and see what the Titans' move should be, but this is kind of flipping the script with the offseason, because I was 100% certain that they were going to take an edge, but after this move today, I'm not 100% sure. So you guys let me know in the comments section. What position should the Titans go out and draft? You let me know. I think it could be the safety. If you want it to still be an edge, type your edges down there, or you could even go maybe defensive line or offensive line. But this is why you subscribe to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. It is going to be out for you by 10 o'clock a.m. time, and the trade happened less than an hour ago. So stay up to date with all your Titans news and rumors by hitting that sub button, and as always, tighten up.